Okay, so here we are at Knapmile Quarry for the 12th edition of the Tough One. A sad day and a happy day as well, because it's been a fantastic place and it's sad to see it go. It's no longer available for use. But the Tough One is to be happy about, because it's been a fantastic event. The UK's first extreme enduro. It's set the path for every other extreme enduro in the UK that's followed, and it's just a really special place. Great lineup, sold out tickets for people to come and see, so it should be a fantastic spectacle.
Not been riding bikes, well, I've been riding bikes all my life, but never entered any real races. This is my first Tough One event. Done a few races with war events in novice class. I'm going to try the Sportsman's. I'm just going to take it easy, yeah, see how we get on.
I've only been riding for about a year, been with War for about a year, doing hard red days, a few events, and just thought I'd give the Tough One a go, as it's the last one here at Knapmile, so just give it a go, see what happens. I've seen it on the TV, but I've not been to watch it. I've been to watch the Tough One's little brother before, and done the red day on that as well, but never entered it. As long as I finish, I'll be happy.
My name's Chris Downham, number 38 in the Clubman class in the afternoon race. I've come to a Tough One to tick the box. It's one I haven't done before. My first time here, I've never watched the event. So we've come down today, walk the track and see what tomorrow brings. For me, I just think it's the sense of achievement when you've pushed yourself to the limit, really. I mean, there is times when you're around the track and you're struggling and you're picking the bike up off the floor and you think, you know, I could easily just pack it in, but it's that sense of achievement when you finish the race that for me brings me back for another one, and I don't always know why I enter the next one, but I always do. To be honest, I've just moved up from Sportsman this year, so moved into the Clubman. I'm just looking for anywhere in the middle of the pack really and see how it goes. I just set off and take it as it comes really, just keep knocking the laps out and, you know, don't give up.
I started off only ever riding enduro. I come from an enduro background. Yeah, so I ride enduros and just hair scrambles and off-roads. And then in 2012 I did my first extreme race, and then yeah, I've been racing extreme races ever since. Yeah, well, I'm definitely going for the podium. I would like to win. But I think David Knight's definitely going to be super fast. And there's also Graham Jarvis, so I'm sure there's also going to be a lot of other fast riders, but yeah, these are the main two, I would say. Yeah, I have had a walk around, and I think there's quite a few tricky sections. I think the biggest problem is going to be is coming into lap riders, trying to get by on that, but yeah, I think the old circuit looks pretty technical and that, but yeah, I'll say more the lap riders.
I've been riding for a few years down the southeast in the SEC rounds for the London Fire Brigade. So I've done a Tough One last year, really enjoyed it, so I thought I'd come back and give it another go. Pretty well. I managed 4 laps, which I'm hoping to do 5 or 6 this year, so I'm hoping to improve. Well, I've done Romaniacs and I've done a few more extreme events. So it's just exciting and it's something different from what we've got down the south really, so yeah, it's pretty good. I've not had a good look around yet, but I'm hopefully, like I say, going to do a few more laps than I've done last year.
I'm from Italy and I rode S-Gate 2 weeks ago. I made quite good, so I decided to come here with some friends and to test this Tough One. They speak very well about this race, and so I want to test. I like a lot when it's very extreme because I come from the trial, so I love to make some tough things. Maybe tomorrow will be very tough, so I will try to make my best. I don't know, to be honest, because there is some very good English riders that I know from trials, but I'm trying to make my best, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, I have not a long story of races. I did only 2 times the Hell's Gate in these last 2 years, and nothing more. This is my first race of my life. I like more technical passage than fast steps like motocross or normal enduro. I prefer to climb a mountain like this than ride in the grass.
Do the Maxxis British Championship with the motocross, obviously. Just local meeting. Thought I'd have a bit of a go. Spoke to Steve and the people at CF Racing and managed to sort a bike. So thought it was something I could put on my list that I've done and ticked it off. No, I've never been. I've heard about it. I've been looking the last few weeks on YouTube, looking at the videos and whatnot. A bit daunting watching and having a walk around and seeing what it's all about, but looking forward to it. There's a lot of technical stuff. It's not as flat out as what motocross is, and there's a lot of awkward obstacles which I've got to try and sort of break my way into. I've got no expectations really. It's just something to say that I've been and done it. Obviously there's some real big names that have come here, so I'm not expecting anything fantastic really. I just hope to finish.
Started off riding what was called scrambling back in the day, switched to trials and then to enduro, and now I do a mixture of trials, enduro and vintage motocross. I've been here practicing once before, and seeing this is the last one, I thought we'll give it a go. Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah, obviously the Tough One, we needed to have everything that's been in the Tough One over the years, with it being the last one, so people can go, well, yeah, that's got to be in, that's got to be in. And yeah, we wanted to make it a little bit more special because it's the last time we're in. You know, it'll be a sad day when it's gone.
Been riding probably about 5 years on and off. Started off green laning with a group of mates. Kind of got then into a bit more of the extreme scene. We ride a lot at Calm Leisure at Whitworth near us. One thing led to another. I quite like the extreme stuff, and came and watched it last year in June and really enjoyed it and thought, let's have a go. So excellent. Last time it's going to be here, so I didn't want to miss out. Yeah, just happy if I can get round. I've not looked at the track yet. Seen the first big hill up over by the entrance, and it's going to be tough, but that's the name of it.
Basically, I've been riding a couple of years now. I done it last year, but unfortunately I come off and broke my hand on lap 2, so this year I'm hoping to finish the race. I think it's just, obviously it's the Tough One's the main big tough enduro event. It's the main one of the year. Plus you've got all the professionals here, so after my race I get to watch all Johnny Walker and David Knight go at it, so it should be good. I'm looking to do at least the top 5, hopefully in the top 5 this year. And my main aim is just to finish the race.
Hi, I'm Tom Knight. I'm 14 years old from the Isle of Man, and I've been riding ever since I was 4 years old. I've been doing some extreme events, but this is my first tough one, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be good. Well, I've come from a trials background, you see, so I'm not very fast, so I like technical stuff and stuff, yeah.
I mean, I've been riding for 10 years or so. I'm just your average sort of clubman rider, mid-pack rider. I've done probably 5 tough ones now. Normally come about mid-pack, so yeah, to me it's just about survival really. So yeah, there's one particularly bad downhill last year that was horrific, to be fair. Me and my friend Blake Summers did sort of vow to each other that we'd never do this race again after it because we were so scared. But we're back again. I don't know why.
Blake Summers, clubman class. Last year didn't quite finish the event, had bike problems, so didn't finish. So just hoping to finish this year, really.
Hi, Paul Ellis-Smith, veteran class. Steve has given me a free pass this year because 2 years ago I only managed half a lap where I had to go home in an ambulance. So it's very big thanks to Steve for giving me it for free. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we enjoy pain.
I just enjoy hugging Steve at the end.
Yeah.
I think the reason that we do it is to basically antagonise each other into doing it and say we've got to do better than last year. I think that's the drive, and we all love the quarry anyway. So being the last year is good, isn't it?
Great place, we love it. Yeah.
As you can imagine, with this being the last event, there's lots of possibilities in the design of the course has been going through our minds. You know, outdo all the other tough ones, make it this, make it that. It's one of the reasons a tough one is finished. It's 12 years old, it's run its course. We don't want to go putting too many silly things in. It's a nice, flowing, crisp, clean course. Plenty of overtaking places. For the first time in the tough one, we've mixed the clubmen in with the experts and the pros in the afternoon, purely because we've got to get out of the quarry before it goes dark tonight. Whereas in the past, we've ran into the dark. There's lots of changes. So the course, no, we haven't gone overboard. We've marked it very neat, tidy. All the features are in, the log mat, the car, the taxi, the big drop off there, the boulder dash, the root of all evil, the big hill climb in the quarry there, basin, it's all here. So it's the best of the best bits all put together in what will hopefully be a fantastic race. As a promoter, you always like to see a new winner of your event. But also as a promoter, it's nice to see an established name as king of your event. And I think undoubtedly, no matter what happens here on Saturday, David Knight has been the tough one. He's won it 6 times, a couple of gaps in between the wins, but he's won it 6 times. Graham Jarvis 3 times. Tadej Blazusiak once, Johnny Walker once. You know, who's going to win this one? I don't know. I'd like to see Wade Youngs come over again. He was here in 2013 as a 16-year-old. He just won the Roof of Africa. He didn't do too well here. I think he was about 12th. He had different kettle of fish this weekend. He's just won Hell's Gate in Italy. He's on a factory Sherco. He's fit, he's strong, he's looking really good. He's on a good run. He's on that top pace. So he's definitely a front runner. Graham Jarvis you can't rule out. But David Knight, you know, we've made him run around this place, up hills, chasing them, going after the bikes, starting the bikes first, the other riders giving him a penalty. He still won. He was still in the lead within 20 minutes or something. He just goes fast around this quarry, and at 37 years of age, I think he's going to win the last tough one.
You are watching the Michelin Tough One. You are watching the Michelin Tough One.
3 minutes. Just want to chat with you, get you in position. Okay, riders. Riders in the start area. Let's get your helmets on. Let's get you ready. You're going in a couple of minutes. Oh dear. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, so you've got to deal with people like that. Dean Johnson, number 103. You've been named and shamed. It's a dead engine start. The bikes are going cold. They'll be warm by the time they get to the top of that hill.
And so here we go with the morning race. The over 40s and the Clubman riders making their way out into the woods for the first time. Look like Mick Bohm with the whole shots. They pile their way into the woods for the first time. Very difficult conditions here at the Tough One. The final 12th edition here at Nantmar Quarry on the Shropshire North Wales border as the riders make their way into the woods for the first time. We should be seeing our sportsman riders. There they are, climbing onto the bikes, and away they go. It'll be a tough couple of hours for these riders. This, of course, the warm-up, you might say, for the afternoon action, the big race of the day where our professional riders take to this famous Nantmar Quarry circuit. But for now, the sportsman riders making their way into the woods for that first time, piling their way through that single-track area. Good start, absolutely essential in these difficult conditions. The rider's looking very clean at the moment, but I don't think it'll be like that for much longer, as one rider takes a tumble already. That's number 128, Paul Cunningham, but he's back into the action in these early stages. The rest of the field piling into the woods for the first time as 98 Mick Bohm, the whole shot man, leads the way. Now let's see who this is in second place. It looks to me like number 100, and that's Grant Churchwood in second place. On his tail in third place, I think that's number 104. That's Kieran Hankin picking his way through this relatively easy part of the course. It's still a bit muddy in places and a bit slippery, but there's much more harder work to come later on. That was Alex Owen, I think, in fourth place, number 97. You can see things getting a little bit more difficult now as they go into the quarry, as number 147 stuck on the rock there. That was Matthew Mills, but Mick Bohm, number 98, leads the way into one of these difficult parts of the course. Now we'll see just a moment this very steep hill the riders will encounter in just a moment, avoiding that water because it'll reduce the grip, but once you're going through, the spectators loving that at the moment. Now we see number 97 Alex Owen going up this hill. You see how difficult it is now. It's quite steep, and those tree roots at the top, if the riders get it wrong, they spin on the tree roots, kills the momentum, and they pretty much get stuck there. Very steep and very difficult to get back into the action once they get stuck. And some of our midfield riders making their way up the hill, and one or two riders in trouble there. One rider stuck on the tree. To see exactly the problem. Those tree roots at the top of the hill, very difficult to negotiate, and the riders having to change their lines, and now going into the quarry, a very difficult little part of the track here where the riders go through the rocky sections, and they really don't want to fall off here. It will be very painful, of course, on those rocks. Not much grip either. Just slow single track riding as Mick Bone leads them up that tricky hill section with ease. No problems whatsoever as 86 goes. That looks like Tony Williams. Oh, and he's going to get trouble now. He's stuck on the top of the hill. Oh, and into the back there goes James Cook-Thomas, number 109. You can see just how tough it is on these single track sections. But at the moment, the race leader, 98 Mick Bone, charging away at the front with 100 Grant Churchward in second place. Churchward can't really keep up with this guy. His Bone once again on the beater. Clear track in front of him. He goes up the quarry bank there. Lots of rocks and difficult sections there, and then back into the woods. Now this section here just goes to show how difficult it is on the course. Lots of rocks and tree roots there to catch out the unwary, and one rider there in a bit of trouble. Number 1, 2, 3 gone off the racing line, trying to get back into the action now. Let's see who that is. Up to 107, not running well at the moment in these wooded sections. Not much grip, as we said, and the riders standing up, making the bikes do all the work as they go through, paddling their way through these conditions. Quite dry at the moment, but the tough one lives up to its name, really, because it's a very difficult event. Very tough, demanding, extreme endurance. One guy, I think, there, he's okay, I think, but he's just had enough having a chat with the marshals down there as he takes a break. And again, this uphill section, paddling their way through over the rocks. I think that might have been number 113, Ben Gittos. 110, that's Jimmy Davey, the Leeds rider on the KTM, paddling his way through the rocks. And, oh, stalls the bike there now. It looks like it's an electric start on that KTM, so straight back into the action. An electric start, a useful gadget to have with these bikes to save having to kick-start the bike. Another rider, oh, problems there for number 96. That's Ryan Bevan, the South Wales rider, coming into trouble on the hills as the marshals try and help him up there. And again, we see this climb out of the quarry, over the rocks. The riders having to keep the momentum up and stay out of trouble. Again, we see the midfield riders paddling their way up this really steep, difficult hill. The spectators down the bottom, they're looking to get some scrambling action, I must say. Of course, they used to call motocross scrambling, and this very much a scramble indeed. As we see number 141, Callum Gibbons. Oh, and he's lost the front end there, gets stuck. As 113, Ben Gittos tries to get past and gets caught up in the melee from Callum Gibbons, and Gibbons well and truly stuck there. We see the rope being thrown down the hill to drag the bike up the hill. That's how steep it is. The riders really are in trouble if they get stuck there, as 98 still leading the way, making it look all so easy there. Mick Bone up on the pegs on the beater, picking his way through nice and gently. As, oh, problem there for the second place rider, number 100, Grant Churchward, minus the gloves notably there. Let's hope that doesn't hamper him too much. But Churchward still in second place, gets back on his way. And here's the third place rider, number 104, Kieran Hankin. Again, looking very strong indeed. He tries to close up on Churchward after that mistake. Will he close up? Oh, there's a stall there for number 91. That's Hans Tanzer. You can see that electric start on the Honda. Very useful indeed as he goes for the start. He gets the bike back underway. And you can imagine trying to balance the bike and kick-start on those rocks. Electric start, very, very useful indeed as he gets back on his way, paddles through the rocks, tries to get underway. Oh, but he's lost the bike again. And Tanz will have to go for that electric start. And now we see one of the man-made obstacles here on the Tough One course. Now this, an old London taxi. Looks easy from here, but you'll see a few camera angles in the moment. It's very difficult indeed, of course. The metal of the car bodywork gets all the mud and the water over it, and the riders with the tyres struggling for grip. They've really got to take it steady over the car, keep the momentum going, and not make any rash steering, because they'll fall right off the side and have a very painful fall indeed. But the riders, as you can see, making their way over the cab with ease. No problems whatsoever. And as we wait for Mick Bone, here he comes now, number 98. Up on the pegs, he's heading towards the taxi now, and there he goes now. You wouldn't want to use that cab after a night out anymore, would you really? Some of the back markers now paddling their way through. But there's number 100. Oh, he's stuck behind the back marker. That's the second place rider. Churchward in second place, number 100. He's coming under pressure from Kieran Hankin in third place. And we see this is really turning into a battle against the conditions. Number 113 there, Ben Gittos, the sportsman rider in fifth place. He had trouble on the hill earlier on, getting caught up with 141, the the machine there of Callum Gibbons earlier on, and he's stuck there in some of the rocks, and there's another one of those wrecked cars down the bottom there that Gitto's just goes over there. The riders really are struggling now with the rocks and the conditions. The marshals, of course, on hand from the Wirral Off-Roads WR company, helping get these riders through the sections as number 85, Barry Boosted, heads towards the car. Oh, he got it wrong. He's going to struggle there. Oh, and a big fall there for Barry Boosted. Goes right off the side of the car. That could have been nasty, but waves to the crowd. Took a nasty tumble off the car there, but he's okay, and he'll get back into the action. Momentary pause there from Mick Bone, but flies over the car and the stricken Barry Boosted, who's here again. He's back on the bike, skidding down the hill. Oh, and a nasty tumble. Well, not a tumble, but took the handlebars in the chest there, and I think Barry Boosted will be phoning in sick for work tomorrow morning. 98 though, Mick Bone, a bit more composed by him there as he still leads the way with a nice gap to himself and the second place rider Grant Churchwood in second place. There's one of our lap riders going down the hill, and now things really are starting to get difficult. James Rees there, number 143, stuck on the rocks. You can see the wet conditions dragging onto these obstacles makes it very, very slippery indeed, and very treacherous in these closing stages of the race. These logs, as you can see already, starting to get slippery. These are very much like riding on ice, really, as you can see the wet conditions on the mud. And here's our man again, number 96, Ryan Bevan, who got stuck on the hill before. Oh, and he's gone down again, Ryan Bevan, and the immaculate fox clothing he's wearing there. It's not as clean as it was earlier on, but Bevan's still battling away. He gets some help from the marshals, and hopefully trying to get that bike up the hill. He should be back into the action very shortly, but you can see just how tough it is. As another rider in trouble there, that's number 62, James Walker. Oh, jumps off the bike there. That could have been nasty, but he bailed out of that correctly, and he's running well so far. He's in third place in the sportsman class, trying to scramble back up the hill and back onto the bike, which in itself, just climbing those banks after you've come off the bike, is very difficult indeed. But the marshals again on hand to try and help him out, get him back underway. Walker said he's currently third place in the sportsman class. Now coming into the closing stages as Mick Bohm leads the way. The back markers making their way through the course, but Mick Bohm takes the checkered flag and wins the morning race there from Grant Churchwood in second place, and Kieran Hankin coming home third.
Yeah, no, had a good start, best start I've seen for a while. Actually got off line on first, so no, it was good. And once you're in front, I just tried to hold the lead, and I knew when I got some to the technical stuff, I could do it. You know, I could get my way through it, and I managed to pull a lead. And once I got in front, I never looked back. I just kept everything steady, didn't do anything silly, just picked the right lines. You know, the harder lines if you couldn't get through, but just kept going, that was all. No, it's a tremendous race, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, very special, yeah, it means a lot, obviously to Steve and everything. I rode last year and won the morning race last year for the vets, but no, this means more, you know, because it's the last one, and no, he's done really well. Steve and his team are amazing. The marshals out there are just amazing. They were getting people through. There was, you know, you weren't sat for long. They were there helping all the riders through. They've done really well, so hats off to Steve and all his crew. Brilliant race.
Typical, usual bad start. I didn't get a chance to warm my bike up, so I was starting it with a choke on, but no excuses. It's not one on first lap, so I plodded round, and I've got a few mates around shouting where I'm at, and I'm slowly working my way through. I think obviously we weren't going to catch Mick. He was at night flying today, so the circuit rode really well. The first hour it's a lot easier, and then it just gets slippy and the roots come through, and you've got to just sit on the back of the bike a bit, and but you know where you're going by then, so it all evens out, and I enjoyed it. It's good.
You are watching the Michelin Tough One. You are watching the Michelin Tough One.
Yeah, I don't know where the time's gone. When I think back, this is the 12th one. You think back 12 years to the first one, lifetime away, isn't it? It doesn't feel long ago, but when you think about it, a hell of a lot's happened in that time, you know. So, yeah, nice to come back and nice to be at the same place as the first one. Yeah, I don't come to mess about, but no, I just try and enjoy it. It's traffic's going to be the hardest thing around there, you know, getting past people. So just try and get my head down and go from there. you know, I never really do a plan. I just sort of see what's happening and make a plan from what situation I'll get myself into. I think it'll be better with some rain on it. It'll just wash the rocks off a bit. The rocks this morning looked awful muddy, you know, mud getting dragged on them and quite slick. So a bit of rain will probably do it good. The only problem with the rain is obviously seeing where you're going. But at worst, just rip your goggles off. There's not much fast stuff in it. It's all pretty slow. So, you know, if struggling with goggles, just rip them off and matchstick your eyes open.
Hi, I'm Paul Bolton. I'm here for the tough one. I'm in the championship class, pro class, and it's the first time I've been in the last couple of years, so it's all back to Nampmar Quarry and we're having a good time. My background as a rider is trials from the beginning, but I got a little bit, well, foot and mouth came about, and all the events got cancelled and some friends had some motocross bikes. So I just went out riding with them on some local land and we had a good time. So I thought, hey, I like this speed. Crossed with a little bit of rock splatting and stuff like that, and then found out about Erzberg, went to Erzberg, and then it all just spiralled from there and found out I was pretty good at it. I think with extreme, you know, you've got every bit of riding skill. You've got the fast parts, you've got some, so you need a bit of motocross skill. You know, I'm not saying I'm the fastest around a motocross track at all, but you still need to be pretty handy around one, and you know, you also need to be fast in the traditional type enduro races, and then cross-country races, which is what this one is, mixed with some pretty gnarly rock gardens and hill climbs and things like that. So, and then you obviously need the trials background for the throttle control and clutch control, just to keep your skills alive and you know, make sure you get right through the event cleanly. Yeah, I mean, I want to get on the podium. You know, there's me, Jarvis, Wade Young, and Naita. So yeah, there's going to be some stiff competition, but you know, it's going to be it's going to be a pretty busy race because I believe the clubmen and everybody are with us. So the track's quite tight and, you know, slow in some places. So you're going to be about trying to get round people. But yeah, it'd be nice to have a good result here at the tough one for the final time.
Yeah, I've been riding the tough one since 2005. That was my first visit here. I've been quite fortunate. I've had a lot of good results around here on various different bikes, and yeah, I've got a bit of a love and an affinity with the place really. It's a shame it's going to be the last one, but like all good things do come to an end. And for me, it's just nice to be a part of such a nice event, good promoter, and very enjoyable to ride. It's always tough, it's always gnarly, and it always sorts everybody out. And it's, you know, from my point of view, I'm just looking forward to getting stuck in and having a good race. Yeah, I've just pre-walked the course, and although it looks a little bit easier than previous years, it's very, very intense. Steve's put it so there's no let up anywhere as usual, but I think a lot of people are going to, because there's no super big hills and no real hard sections that look hard, they'll think it's easy, but it's still going to be tough because of the intensity. There ain't going to be any let up, and with due rain as well, so I think that'll add to it. It's going to be a long 2.5 hours for sure. Yeah, I mean, the beauty of extreme events is you just never know what's going to happen. You know, you've got 5 or 6 lads that are odds on to be the top 5 or 6, but there's so many different things that can happen. You know, from my point of view, it's really interesting to see how it pans out. For me, you know, as long as I enjoy myself and have a good competition, that's the main thing.
Started trials when I was 6 on CY80. So started on local trials clubs really. Competed in like local, I'd say like youth trials, but got to the age of 12, 13 and got a bit bored of the slow, steady sections. So tried my hand at the youth enduros on Suzuki 85, and I went from there really. I mean, thoroughly enjoyed it because there wasn't like stop start all the time in the sections. You're just going for an hour and a half, and just really enjoyed it. So from then, I think age 16, I did my first extreme enduro with WOR, the Tough One's little brother. I really enjoyed them, so go on from there. But I mean, I really enjoyed extreme stuff from the trials background. It's my sort of thing. I mean, the fast events are good, but I just enjoy these more because there's more technical skill needed in them. I mean, fast, anyone can go fast in a straight line around corners, but this is more, like I said, trials background needed and feet up, more balance and that, but I really enjoy them. So. In the experts, I would like to, well, aim for the win, but top 3, top 5 I'd be very happy with. Like I said, there's a lot of fast expert riders here. So, I mean, yeah, just to get around, get a decent place at the finish. Podium would be nice, but anything can happen. I mean, you could go and smash the front brake off, that'd be game over. So, like I said, I have to wait and see. Pace yourself, because you can go like balls out after the first lap, knock yourself out half hour. You've got 2.5 hours around here, so you've got to really pace yourself. like I said, use your head and stamina comes into it. But yeah, keep the fluids up. In your pit stop, try and have a banana, get energy flowing. But yeah, use your head, I'd say.
So here we go for the main race of the 12th and final edition of the Tough One here at Nantmark Quarry on the Shropshire North Wales border. Very demanding course, known the world over as one of the toughest extreme enduros in the world, as our expert riders get underway. Le Mans style start there, where they run to the bikes, fire them up, and away they go into the woods. For the first time we'll be seeing our clubman riders getting underway very shortly as well. The third and final group. Steve Ireland, the promoter, waves the flag. Away they go as one rider gets a flying start over the knoll there into the woods for the first time. A good start, as you'll see in a moment. Absolutely essential, because the riders will bottleneck into the woods for the first time. A real traffic jam there as they go into the woods. But up at the front, it looks to me that rider there was number 13, Paul Bolton. They get to the lead. Knight there, well placed. And as we can see, the mud absolutely flying. The spectators really have turned out now for this big event in the afternoon, as some of the world's top extreme enduro riders take to the course to try and claim this final victory here in the Tough One. And this uphill section through the woods, you can see that tree root there on the middle of the racing line there, making it very difficult indeed, as one rider takes a tumble there. Down he goes. That's number 27, Jack Barwick, coming to grief on the tree root. Lost all grip, but straight back onto the bike. Two options there, going over the tree root or round the edge, as one rider skillfully negotiates there. And oh, whoa, big crash there for number 30. And that looks like Mark Kirby. Spectacular crash there. Lucky not to damage the bike, but he's in one piece and gets back into the action. And we see the Michelin bridge there, heralding the start of this really difficult man-made section. They go over the tyres and the logs and through the trailer. Leading the way still on the end of the first lap, though, number 13, Paul Bolton, picks his way up the quarry bank there and still charging away at the front. Looks like Jarvis in second place, the former World Trials rider, of course, and made the very successful switch to Extreme Enduro's David Knight, who really needs no introduction, one of the top riders in the world of Enduro for the past decade or so, and he's leading the way now. Looks like Bolton's dropped to second with Jarvis still in there as well. Here comes number 7, now that's the Welshman Owen Humphreys. Had a great ride at last year's Sucker Punch at the end of the season. Looking very strong indeed again today at the Tough One. Now there goes number 3, which I think is Ben Hemingway. Hemingway family rivalry there with number 8. Dan Hemingway, here he comes up the hill just behind there. Very, very closely fought at the start. And there's number 27, Jack Barwick, in the experts, who had that tumble on the first lap. And you can see these logs, how difficult they are. There's no grip whatsoever once the riders have stopped, trying to get back underway. And oh, funnily enough, there's number 30, the rider Mark Kirby, who had that spectacular tumble in the woods on the first lap. He's in trouble in the trailer, but looks like he's okay. And there's Steve Norbury, one of our clubman riders, in trouble on the digger tyres there, and you can see just how difficult it is for grip now, as another rider there, one of the midfield runners, takes a tumble on the logs. The marshals very quickly on hand, though. The very professional setup here at War Racing at the Tough One. All the marshals on hand to pick these riders through the obstacles. And it looks to me like Graham Jarvis has taken lead. There he is, just going over the tyres now and over the logs. Knight is right on his tail by the Michelin man there. There goes Jarvis, Knight on his tail. So Jarvis trying to pull away, but oh, there's a problem. There's a back marker, goes down. Is that going to cause trouble for Jarvis? No, it doesn't. He skillfully gets past the fallen rider, as does Knight. So the top two riders clear away. There you see the steely determination in the eyes of Graham Jarvis, former World Trials rider, and notably enough many years ago winner of the Junior Kickstart programme back in his youth days. And as we said earlier in the programme, he switched over to enduro, well, extreme enduro racing later on in his career. Made a very successful switch there. But Knight, of course, one of the top riders in world enduros for many, many years, and he has made this event his own in previous years. He'll be looking to go out with a bang and take victory in the last ever edition of the Tough One here at Nantmark Quarry. It's the race they all want to win. There's the big prize fund as well. And this hill we saw earlier on in the show in the AM race, the morning race, was very difficult indeed earlier on, as we saw a moment there for number 14, looked like Nino Bellomo, the Italian rider. There he goes, just skillfully nips his way through past the fallen rider and through the mud there. As you can see just how difficult these conditions are. We were saying before in the morning race it was tricky enough then, but now the circuit becoming an absolute quagmire and really getting very difficult, of course, for these expert and pro riders. the spectators are out in force. A great turnout of spectators. It's quite a remote venue here at Namar and difficult to get to sometimes. It just goes to show how popular this event is for all the spectators to come out. And now that looks like one of our furthest travelled riders, number 6, Wade Young, who's currently in 4th place. Wade Young, all the way from South Africa. You might say very different conditions to what he might be accustomed to in his homeland. This wet Shropshire mud proving no problems at all for the South African, as number 6 Wade Young, a bit of a wobble there for him over the tyres, but recovers well, gets back on the power on the Sherco and up the hill. And it looks like David Knight still leading the way, but there's back markers in the way, and Knight has to stop momentarily, pick his line and get through. There's Jarvis right on his tail, and Jarvis again has to stop, and there we can just see the bib there of number 6. That's Wade Young we saw a moment ago, and Wade Young really starting to close up on the top 2 riders. But we see again Knight going back through into the stadium section, this man-made part of the course. One of the trickiest parts of the course, and you can see the momentum there, just keeping the bike moving over these obstacles. Keeps the momentum going, so he's not going to get into trouble over those sections. Looking very strong indeed. And so as we go into the second half of the race, David Knight leads the way. Will he hold on for victory? Let's find out in the Tough One after the break. You are watching the Michelin Tough One. You are watching the Michelin Tough One.
Yeah, okay, real big things happening here. We've got an hour to go. In the race right now, it's David Knight with about a minute lead. Graham Jarvis in second. He lost a bit of time fueling. The rain's beating down, the track's cutting up, it's tough out there. Wade Young's down in 4th, well back. Paul Bolton's going really well in 3rd spot. We've just doubled the prize money from £2,000 to £4,000 to the winner takes all mid-race. It's never happened before. A guy's come up to us, real supporter of the game, one of our customers, and he's just said, have you put £2,000 up for this, for the winner? And I said, yeah. And he said, I'm going to double it. He paid the money straight into the bank there, and then winner takes £4,000 in the next hour. This is the last tough one, yeah. The last tough one in its form. There's Naita now going through in the lead. It's the last tough one. It's the last Namar. It's an emotional day. It's a happy day. It's a sad day. I don't know what to say, but I'm just so happy the way it's gone. And the racing in this has been so close and really battling. I don't know what to say. Great turnout. The weather won't beat us, and we'll have a new event very soon to replace this one.
Welcome back to the Tough One with the rain pouring down, with Graham Jarvis there in 2nd place, number 43. Looking to try and close up with David Knight, the race leader, and as we heard there from Steve Ireland, one rather generous spectator, you might say, is given a £2,000 boost to the prize fund, so it's £4,000 for the winner. Leader of the race, as we saw earlier before we went for the break, was David Knight, number 1, who still leads the way, as we see there. Number 7, Owen Humphreys, goes over the wrecked car, and 42, we saw in a bit of trouble earlier on, that was Steve Norbury, picking his way over the rocks. The rain really lashing down now, and the track getting more and more wet, slippery and treacherous, and really is turning into a battle for these riders. Number 2 there, Wayne Braybrook, going over the wrecked car. But there's our race leader, number 1, David Knight, closely followed by Graham Jarvis in 2nd place. And Knight pushing his way through the rocks as quickly as possible, because Graham Jarvis is still right on his tail in 2nd place, and David Knight, number 1, goes back into the stadium section as one back marker pulls to one side and lets the leaders go through, watches the action. But Knight trying to pull away now from Jarvis, but Jarvis looks like he's on his tail in 2nd place. Yes, indeed he is. So 1st and 2nd, neck and neck, and I think that's Paul Bolton in 3rd place. So Bolton, who dropped out of the reckoning earlier on, maybe staging a late fight back. The top 3 only covered by a handful of seconds. None of them can afford to make any kind of a mistake, because they could well drop them out of the reckoning. But number 1, David Knight, the Manxman, leads the way out of the stadium section, up the quarry bank there, as you can see just how wet the course is now. Back into the trailer they go. The riders virtually unrecognisable as they go through these closing parts of the race. The conditions very, very tough indeed. And that looks to me like one of the Husqvarna riders could well be Owen Humphreys. Seems to be so. Owen Humphreys making his way through the rocks. He's got some slower riders in front of him. He's trying to pick his way through. They're queuing up on the car, so Owen Humphreys has got to wait. He's having to think about it, trying to find a clear gap. Here he goes. Oh, and off the side of the car he goes. So Owen Humphreys makes his own line there. Spectacularly jumps off the side of the car, and he had to get that right, because that could have been a big tumble if he'd got that wrong. We saw, of course, one rider in the Sportsman race this morning go spectacular style off the side of that car and into the spectators, so we can see it can go wrong, but Owen Humphries, we saw earlier, no trouble whatsoever for him, but back into the woods now, and you can see just how difficult the course is. It's a real quagmire now as the riders queuing up to try and get up this slippery bank. The spectators looking on, they can see just how tough the conditions are, but no problems at all for number 1, David Knight, who still leads the way with Graham Jarvis in second place. And Knight counting down the laps now as he looks to try and close in on victory number 2 there. That was Wayne Braybrook, who's still very well placed. And this log section we saw early on in the race, it was difficult enough on the first lap, but now virtually impossible. He wouldn't really climb up that on foot, let alone on a bike. But it just goes to show the skill level of these pro, expert and clubman riders. They're all very experienced riders, of course, but this course here at Knapmar designed to test their skills to the limit. And now we've got a race at the front, neck and neck for the lead. Jarvis one side and Knight on the other, and it looks like Jarvis has taken the lead. Yes, he has. Round the outside goes Graham Jarvis into the lead. Now the big question is, can David Knight fight back? The gloves are off in these closing stages as Graham Jarvis there on the Husqvarna takes the lead. Knight is still on his tail in second place, but there goes Jarvis back through the quarry and into the woods. Knight chasing away in second place, but there's Graham Jarvis coming back towards the stadium section. He's gone through the woods and still leads the way. Knight charging away in second place, trying to close up on Jarvis. Over the car he goes. David Knight, number 1, now in second place, but Jarvis starting to pull away a bit now, as we see again in the midfield runners here. Really is a scramble and a struggle just to keep going in these closing stages. And let's see, is that Jarvis? Yes, it is. So still Graham Jarvis leads the way as they go back into the woods. Time running out now for David Knight in second place. No sign of it at the moment. Well, there he is. He's still there in second place, but losing ground all the time on Graham Jarvis. So Jarvis has timed his run to perfection as Owen Humphries still goes through up amongst the front runners. And now the conditions really becoming an absolute test of the rider's skill and concentration. Really is turning into a battle against the elements. The rider's covered in mud, the bikes are slippery as well, the fatigue as well. And these last few minutes of the final tough one certainly living up to the event's billing and the event's reputation. One rider there, number 16, they're taking on some late fuel, and it really is becoming a battle. It's cold, it's wet, it's slippery. Oh, but no, look at that. David Knight, our front runner, has made a mistake on the tyres, gets round the side of the course and back into the action. Now this could be a crucial moment in this final edition of the Tough One. David Knight has crashed out of second place, and he is absolutely furious. I think some of the spectators may have heard some choice words there as he went through. He is absolutely furious with himself. He's back on the bike, but now it looks like he's running out of time. He's lost some valuable seconds to Graham Jarvis. Here he comes back through the woods again. David Knight in second place, charging away to try and close up on Graham Jarvis, but Jarvis is clear away in the front now. Paul Bolton dropping a bit behind now in third place. And as we move back to some of our expert riders, you can just see now it really is becoming a battle to complete the race, really. They're not racing anymore, they're just trying to complete the course. The rain making things twice as difficult as they would have been already. We saw just how tough the course was earlier on in the morning. Over 40s and sportsman race, but now it's even tougher once again as Knight still charging away in second place. No sign of Jarvis, but here I'm told he's cleared away in the front. So Jarvis has gone through in the lead. We see there David Knight trying to close up on Jarvis, but he may be too late. That mistake through the tyres, I think it may well have cost him dearly, as Graham Jarvis, with 1 lap to go, the last lap board going out now, and I'm sure many of the riders were glad to see that one. As we see, I think that's number 30 there. That was Mark Kirby. He's had an eventful race so far. I'm sure he'll be glad to see the checkered flag, but he's still going and he's still in the reckoning. It really is just a case of keeping going, really completing this challenge. The rain absolutely throwing it down now in these closing stages, and one rider I think has had enough. He's going to let the leaders go through and cross the line, and taking the checkered flag is Graham Jarvis, who brings it home, the final ever edition of the Michelin Tough One. It's a win for Graham Jarvis. David Knight it will be that comes home in second place, and here comes David Knight in second place, and let's speak to our race winner Graham Jarvis.
Initially the track looked fairly easy, but you know, it just gets so rutted round here. and like passing the other riders as well made it real difficult, and it was good to be battling with Nita there. You know, he's top rider, and I was just happy to be up in the front really, and luckily them last few laps I had enough energy to push and get the win.
Crap start and just got roosted really, wrecking my goggles, so I spent the first half an hour really stopping and getting goggles and gloves were hanging like real muddy as well, so I had to stop and get new ones then. So everyone was just playing cat and mouse at the start. There were so many queues. If I got ahead and pulled away a bit, you just got stuck in a queue and everyone caught you again. So you're wasting energy for nothing. So it was a bit like the M25 on a Monday morning.
Yeah, that's it, for an extra bit of pressure. They added the prize money halfway through, so yeah, that's probably an incentive for them last few laps.
I come in the pits a lap earlier than I needed to, filled up, and that lap I caught Graham probably half a minute on him, caught him up, he come in the pits in front of me. I had a minute and 3 on my intercom when Graham left the pits. And then at the end of that lap I had a minute and 23 on him, and then all of a sudden the next lap he passed me, so I don't know what line the boys were using, but it wasn't the one I was, so I don't know if it was my fault for taking a crap line somewhere, or them guys were taking a bit of a dodgy one, I'm not sure, but
yeah, last time at Nampmar, so you know, a lot of memories here, and it's sad to be leaving the venue, but it's good to finish on a high, definitely.
Got a good start, the tough one, and then just put my head down and just cracked on. Got to Route of Orlevel, which was a bit of a bummer, and there was, when we came to lap the first few riders, there was a massive queue, so I got bummed there, and then I cleared them through, and then them boys came through, so it would have been nice to have a bit more of a lead for a while, but I mean, you know, the pace was relentless, and I was struggling towards the end a little bit. I've got an old shoulder injury that just keeps flipping playing up in this weather, so yeah, it's not so bad in the foreign countries where it's a bit warmer, but you know, in the UK it gets. But anyway, Eurotech KTM was awesome, and yeah, mega.
There's probably lines appeared on the track that most people were doing, and I've missed a couple maybe, but I caught Graham again. He crashed in front of me, I hit him, and I got all my gloves covered in crap again, so that's what knackered me then. He gapped me when I come in to get new gloves.
I rode the first tough one here at Nampmar back in the day, whenever it was, and I think Graham and Nita did actually. Yeah, it were good, and then now we're here however many years later, and the tough one, the final time at Nampmar, so it's a bit of a shame, but you know, I'm sure Steve will find another venue, and yeah, it'll be good fun.
Voice has gone now, they're shouting at people, trying to get past as best he can. The guy, a few laps from the end, crashed in front of me and my finger went on his wheel, so that wasn't very nice. But it was all right. I did all I could. Couldn't have done any more, so you know, happy enough for second.
So Graham Jarvis brought it home as the winner of the final ever edition of the Tough One. Well done to Graham Jarvis, and congratulations to all our riders.
Always look on the bright side of life. You're not with me on this, are you?
No.